All right, man, I'm back at it right here, back at it right here. So now, just a quick video right here, right now. Now, I really want to deal with, as it pertains to, stuff I've been dealing with lately, dealing with the chaos, carrying out with this information, dealing with this chaos stuff, right? Now, what was interesting, I was watching this one video of this particular brother now, you guys know he's been dealing with this information for years now, over 10 years now, he's been dealing with this information, dealing with Egyptian systems, Egyptian history and things of that nature. But now, the brother was in a video now, he's mentioning how, he's talking about the pyramids, right? He's talking about the pyramids, he's basically talking about how, basically, you know, the first thing he mentioned was talking about he doesn't want people to think that. Now, he was going into the pyramids and how the Egyptians built the pyramids and stuff like that. I've dealt with this stuff. I don't want to make this video too long and all that, but he's talking about how the Egyptians did, was building the pyramids and things of that nature. And he said that he doesn't want people to think that that they weren't using a high technology. So when he said that already, it's clear the brother's been watching. You know what I'm saying? The brother's been watching my content, the brother's been watching the videos. But again, that's the reason why I make these videos. I make these videos for the people, You know what I mean? For the community, for the people to really, really raise the bar and really take this to the next level. So he's mentioning the technologies, So again, and I'm glad that he's mentioning that because again, the people need to understand that. People need to recognize that they were dealing with this, the high technology, and that's some of the stuff I've been revealing. I've been speaking about these technologies. So I'm glad that he's actually brought that out now and really bring it to the people. It's time now, that we start dealing with now, and understanding the technology and understanding the high sciences that was taking place all those years ago, right? So I like that part, you know what I'm saying? But one thing he did later go into was talking about how he mentioned now. He mentioned how like obviously in one of the last videos I spoke about dealing with the chaos and really the history of chaos, and what took place was that it was such a sophisticated society. So essentially, when it did crash, when it did end, there basically was it was a complete wipeout. Dealing with the memory, dealing with all these different things. So then he mentioned how some brothers talking about dealing with the memory, losing our memory, and then his rebuttal to that was basically because he mentioned Lalibela churches. He's talking about Lalibela churches, and now based on the Lalibela churches, it meant that we didn't really lose our memory. We were still dealing with the science. So I want to deal with that. Just briefly, I really want to deal with that. So now, as it pertains to that, I was doing some research on it. Basically, the Lalibela churches, right, come from the architecture of the Lalibela churches actually resemble close to the kingdom of Axum, right? So now the Lalibela churches, they date them to like what the 8th century, 13th century, but then more information would actually say that the churches resemble the architecture of the kingdom of Axum. The kingdom of Axum was from 80 BC to 800 AD, which also corresponds to what I spoke about dealing with the civilizations, how it's 800 years, 8,000 years, 800,000 years. This is how long they last for. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we're dealing with. So the kingdom of Axum, 80 BC, 800 AD, but they're saying that the golden age or the peak was the 3rd century AD to the 6th century AD, and by the 800 AD it was declining. So that's really when the architecture of the Lalibela churches resemble or is closely linked to the kingdom of Axum, and the kingdom of Axum was 3rd century, 6th century AD which would be the more correct date, or closer to a more accurate date. We can't really date stone, but that would be a more closer accurate date dealing with when those structures were built. So the reason why it's important to mention that is because he's basically trying to almost debunk that, that we lost our memory and stuff, trying to say that we were still dealing with sciences, but reality is that's 3rd century, 6th century AD, which, so basically what he's basically saying is there was a bounce. Basically, that's all that means, that there was a bounce. So when it did fall, when it did end, there wasn't a complete crash. It crashed, and then there was a small bounce. So the crash, and then there's a small bounce, small technological, small cultural bounce, and that bounce was the kingdom of Axum. You see what I'm saying? So the kingdom of Axum was that particular bounce. But again, it still corresponds to what I've spoke about, dealing with it never amassed. We never amassed to the same level once again. So the kingdom of Axum was a small bounce, but we never still amassed to the same level once again. It never reached to the capacity once again. So it was a small technological bounce. So it still corresponds to losing their memory, because as a whole, that's only a small civilization to the whole entire regions. You see what I'm saying? So it still stands. So but I like the brother I like his enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? I like the brother's enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? The brother's enthusiasm. For really attempting to really give his take, give his 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? So I like the brother's enthusiasm, but really that's garbage. So really that still stands. Dealing with losing the memory, that still stands, right? So that really corresponds to that. But one thing I do want to mention, the brother was dealing with. The brother also, because right now what we're dealing with again is 2020. So with 2020 now, we're moving into 2020 now, or it is 2020 right now. We gotta leave these old theories behind. So the brother was dealing with the pyramids, this and that nature. The brother was dealing with, and the brother's got a lecture dealing with Egyptian mystery. So now I want to put this on record. But there's some of the stuff that I've been dealing with lately, dealing with the technologies, dealing with the ancient energy and all these different things. Basically, I just want to come out and say, basically what we're saying is you can't. In 2020 now and beyond, you can't continue to call your lecture or to call your shit, Egyptian mysteries. You can't call it anymore. If you're not dealing with the TVs, you're not dealing with, the TVs, and you're not dealing with these, the AC, the DC, and all these different sciences, the high sciences today, the hidden science. If you're not dealing with that, you can't call it Egyptian mysteries anymore. You can't call it that anymore. You know what I'm saying? This is old information from the 80s, the 90s. We're moving forward now to 2020 and beyond. I'm paving the way now for this really advanced science is coming forth now. And we spoke about what I want to deal with. On my other channels, on the platform, spoke about how I want to deal with, Q1. I want to deal with the cellular biology. You know what I'm saying? So really, that's really the mysteries now. We're breaking the mysteries. And just my last video, I spoke about. Obviously, my main channel, I spoke about. I broke the mystery of a particular mythology that went. That was really the first time that particular mythology has been fully decoded publicly for the first time. So we're making history over here. You know what I'm saying? So these other brothers now, they're dealing with, you can't call it Egyptian mysteries anymore. You know what I'm saying? So the brother lecture Egyptian mysteries, this Egyptian mysteries, you can't call it that anymore. If you're not dealing with the TVs, you're not dealing with the AC, the DC, the cellular biology, really breaking the mysteries of these technologies and showing the people the technologies and breaking the technologies, you can't call it that anymore. The bar has been raised. So moving into 2020 now, I just want to put this out there. You can't call it Egyptian mysteries anymore if you're not dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with this DC, the AC, the high technologies, the high sciences. You can't call it that anymore. We're moving forward now. So again, I appreciate the brothers. The brothers, the brothers. We gotta pay homage to the brothers doing the work. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate the brothers doing the work, but you gotta upgrade now. The bar has been raised now. You can't call it that anymore. That's what we're dealing with. So again, I just want to make a quick video dealing with, dealing with that particular brother, you know what I'm saying? But again, if the brother watches this video and he feels like, you know what I'm saying, I'm open to debate this. I really am, because I'm really confident now in this knowledge that I've been dealing with now, that I've really uncovered some real solid information. So if the brother, he feels some type of way about this and wants to debate this, we can debate this. I got no problem with that now. At this stage now, I've been dealing with this information for years now. I got no problem with that. So the brother wants to debate this, we can get it on. You know what I'm saying? I've been dealing with this now, so I'm ready for this. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's a quick video right here. You know what I mean, man? Again, man, hope you enjoyed the video, man. Hope you took some good information. It's all right, people. Thanks for watching.